Have you ever felt so tired from fighting against life that all you want is to give up? Why do we keep pushing, struggling, and resisting things that seem beyond our control? Imagine holding a heavy stone in your hand for hours. At first, it feels manageable, but over time your hand cramps and aches, begging you to let go. Yet somehow we hold on tighter, thinking it will ease our pain. What if the secret to peace is not in resisting the weight, but in learning when and how to rest? Welcome to Wisdom Woven. Here, we explore deep truths from the timeless teachings of Buddhism and the gentle art of living fully and peacefully. On this channel, we share stories and ideas that weave together wisdom and kindness to help you live a calmer, lighter life. If you find these thoughts meaningful, there are so many views on this channel but only 0.2% subscribed. So please, do us a kindness, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support means everything and helps us bring more peaceful messages to you and others. Life often feels like a constant battle between what we want and what reality gives us. We resist change, fear loss, and cling to certainty in an uncertain world. This resistance creates suffering, confusion, and exhaustion. Buddhism offers a gentle invitation. What if we stopped fighting, stopped pushing, and instead started resting? What if rest is not laziness or giving up, but a wise breaking free from struggle? In this video, we will explore how resistance weighs us down and how truly resting our mind and heart, can open the door to freedom. We will learn from ancient Buddhist wisdom and see how it applies to our busy, modern lives. Together, we will discover simple, practical ways to stop resisting and start resting, so peace can grow in your life, moment by moment. Stay with us. The journey to letting go and finding ease is a precious one. It is not about perfection but about kindness, to ourselves first of all. When we stop resisting, we begin to live fully, with softness and strength hand in hand. Let's begin this path of rest and renewal together. Origins of resistance. Understanding its roots. To understand why we resist, we must first look deeply at what resistance really is. Resistance is like a silent battle happening inside us every day. It's when we say no to what life offers, when we want things to be different than they are, and when we hold tightly to our ideas of how things should be. This struggle might feel natural, even automatic, but it causes deep pain and tension in the heart. Imagine a river flowing freely, smooth, calm, sometimes lively, sometimes still. Now imagine trying to hold back that river with your hands. The moment you push against the current, your hands hurt. You grow tired, and the struggle only makes the water seem stronger. This river is like life itself, always moving, always changing. Resistance is the push against the flow. But why do we resist so much? It comes from a few very simple but strong roots inside us. The first is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of losing what we have, fear of pain or discomfort. When things change or do not go as we want, this fear triggers that tight grip, that holding on, so we don't feel hurt. We believe that by resisting, we are protecting ourselves. But often, the opposite happens. Resistance keeps our hearts tense and unsettled. Another root of resistance is attachment. We attach ourselves to people, to things, to ideas, and even to our own stories about who we are and how life should be. Attachment tells us that happiness lies in keeping these things just as they are. It whispers, if you lose this, you lose yourself. So we fight hard to keep our world safe, familiar, and comfortable. But when the world changes, as it must, our attachments become chains. We also resist because of expectations, our own and those placed on us by others. We expect life to be fair, people to behave certain ways, and ourselves to meet particular standards. When reality falls short of these expectations, our resistance kicks in. We push back, complain, or run away, all because we want things to match how we imagine them. Resistance feels like energy focused outward, a constant no to what is. It pulls us away from the present moment, from accepting what we truly have right now. Instead of peace, resistance brings struggle, tension, and exhaustion. Understanding these roots is the first kind step we can offer ourselves on the path of rest. When we see resistance clearly, we begin to understand that it is not the enemy but a signal. It tells us where our heart feels the most vulnerable, where we feel afraid, and where we cling too tightly. In Buddhism, this understanding is like shining a gentle light into the dark corners of the mind. It allows us to meet resistance with curiosity and kindness, rather than anger or frustration. We learn to slow down and watch resistance as if it were a cloud passing in the sky, there but not permanent, not us. In doing so, we start to loosen the grip. We stop pushing against the river and begin to float with it. This does not mean giving up on life or running away from responsibility. Instead, it means finding wisdom in knowing when to let go and when to act. As we recognize resistance's roots in fear, attachment, and expectation, we realize something beautiful. These feelings are part of being human. They connect us all in our shared experience of vulnerability. And through this connection, we find a well of compassion, not only for ourselves but for others who also struggle silently. We may ask ourselves, what would happen if I stopped resisting just a little each day? What new space could open in my heart? What peace might I find beneath the surface of struggle? This is not an easy question because resistance is strong. It has been with us for so long. It feels like part of our very being. But the fact that you are here listening, reading, and thinking about this means your heart already seeks rest. In the next steps of this journey, we will explore how the simple act of noticing resistance changes everything. We will see how rest is not a destination but a gentle return, a coming back home to ourselves again and again. And as you walk this path, remember, every moment you choose ease over struggle, you weave a thread of peace not only within but also into the fabric of the world around you. So, gently ask yourself today, where do I hold on too tight? Where might it be safe to let go, just for a moment and truly rest? Buddhist teachings on acceptance. In the gentle wisdom of Buddhism, acceptance is not a passive surrender but a brave and loving embrace of life just as it is. It is the art of opening our hearts to the present moment without pushing it away or wishing it were different. When we truly accept, we stop the endless struggle against reality and find a deep peace that does not depend on changing the world outside. Imagine a big tree standing tall through all seasons. It does not threaten the winter winds. It does not demand the sun to shine every day. It simply accepts the changes around it and remains steady in its own rootedness. This is how acceptance works. It allows us to be steady and calm, no matter what happens in our lives. Buddhism teaches acceptance through the idea of suchness or thusness, seeing things as they really are, without adding our judgments, fears, or desires. This means looking at life clearly, without the cloud of should or must. When we see things as they are, we free ourselves from the pain of wishing for what cannot be. This acceptance is deeply connected to another Buddhist teaching called the Four Noble Truths. The first truth tells us that suffering exists. The second, that suffering comes from craving and resistance. The third reveals that suffering can end. And the fourth shows us the path to that ending. Acceptance, then, is the step where we stop fighting and begin to heal. But how do we practice acceptance when life deals us hard or painful moments? It starts with gentle awareness, a soft looking without judgment. When pain or difficulty arises, instead of pushing it away or pretending it's not there, we welcome it like an old friend. This does not mean we approve of suffering or resign ourselves to it. Rather, we acknowledge its presence and hold it with kindness. This practice of acceptance takes courage because it means facing our fears and discomfort without turning away. It invites us to be present with life's imperfections, including our own. As we do this, we see that acceptance is not weakness but great strength. The strength to stay open and loving even when things are tough. There is a beautiful story in Buddhist tradition that illustrates acceptance. It tells of a Zen master who, when asked about the secret to peace, simply replied, "Let life be life." This simple phrase reminds us that trying to control everything only leads us away from peace. When we let life be, we find ourselves flowing with it rather than against it. Acceptance also includes accepting ourselves. Often, the hardest struggle is within, against our own thoughts, feelings, or perceived flaws. Buddhist teachings encourage us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a dear friend. When self-acceptance grows, resistance softens, and rest becomes possible. Practicing acceptance does not mean giving up on growth or change. Instead, it creates a stable ground from which true transformation arises. When we accept the present moment fully, we can see more clearly what steps to take next. Without this clear seeing, we may waste energy fighting shadows or clinging to illusions. In daily life, acceptance can begin with simple actions. Noticing your breath when you feel tense, naming your emotions without judgment, or gently reminding yourself that it's okay to feel uncertain or scared. These small acts build the habit of acceptance, weaving it into the fabric of your being. As you continue your journey, remember that acceptance is a process, a path that unfolds moment by moment. It is not about suddenly changing overnight, but about slowly learning to rest more deeply in what is. And each time you practice, you bring warmth and heart to your life. So, ask yourself gently, what parts of my life am I trying to resist? What might happen if I allowed these moments to be exactly as they are? With each breath, you have the chance to say yes to life, to yourself, to peace. And in that yes, you find rest. In this quiet space of acceptance, there is no need to hurry or fix. There is only the soft unfolding of life, just as it is, and the gentle awakening of a heart that knows true ease. This is the wisdom Buddhism offers us, a way to stop resisting and start resting, grounded in love and free from struggle. The power of mindful awareness. In the teachings of Buddhism, one of the most precious gifts we receive is the practice of mindful awareness. This practice invites us to be fully present, to notice what is happening right now, in our body, mind, and heart, without judgment or distraction. Mindfulness is the gentle art of waking up from the automatic rush of thoughts and feelings, and seeing life as it truly is. Imagine walking through a garden, but instead of rushing through to your destination, you stop, breathe, and notice the flowers, the colors, the scents, and the soft touch of the breeze. Every detail you become aware of brings you into the moment, and in that moment, peace can grow. This is what mindful awareness offers, a way to touch the richness of life, even in the simplest experiences. Often we live caught in what the Buddhists call the monkey mind, where thoughts jump from one place to another and we lose connection with the present. We think about the past regrets or future worries, and in doing so, we miss the gift of what is unfolding right now. Resistance grows when we cling to these distractions. Mindfulness helps us gently pull back from the noise and rest in what is real and true. When we bring mindful awareness to our struggle, something shifts. Instead of reacting automatically with fear, anger, or frustration, we create a space, a quiet room inside where we can see our feelings clearly. This space allows us to respond with kindness and wisdom rather than acting out of habit. Mindful awareness becomes a path to freedom because it stops us from being swept away by every storm of thought or emotion. There is a warmth in this practice because mindfulness is not about being perfect or doing something special. It is simply about noticing the breath as it flows in and out, noticing the rise and fall of the chest, noticing the heaviness or lightness in the body, and most importantly, noticing thoughts and feelings as they come and go like clouds in the sky. Buddhism teaches that through mindful awareness, we learn to see the true nature of our mind. We discover that thoughts and emotions are not solid or permanent. They arise and pass away naturally. This understanding helps to loosen the grip of resistance because we realize that our struggles are not the whole story. They are passing waves on the vast ocean of our being. Mindfulness also invites us to be patient and gentle with ourselves. When painful feelings come up, instead of pushing them away or criticizing ourselves, we hold them with care. This compassionate attention soothes the heart and encourages healing. It tells the part of us that is hurting, "I see you, and it's okay to be here." Practicing mindful awareness can begin very simply. It might start with just a few breaths taken with gentle attention during the day, or a moment of pausing before responding to a challenging situation, allowing space to choose a calmer way. Gradually, this practice becomes a steady companion that guides us back to rest whenever we stray into resistance. We do not need to create special conditions or perfect surroundings to practice mindfulness. It can be done anywhere, in the quiet of a morning, in the middle of a busy day, or even amidst difficulty. The power of mindfulness is that it meets us always, wherever we are, offering a doorway to peace. One of the most beautiful things about mindful awareness is how it reveals the interconnectedness of all things. When we are present with ourselves, we begin to feel connected to others and to the world around us. This connection softens the walls of separation that resistance often builds. We see that we are not alone in our struggles, and that compassion flows naturally from this understanding. In moments of stress or pain, mindful awareness is the gentle hand that guides us back to the present. It is the steady presence that doesn't judge, doesn't rush, just simply is. And in this simple being, we find a place to rest, a place of safety and warmth within ourselves. Through mindfulness, resistance loses its power to control us. We become like a calm lake that reflects the sky clearly, even when the wind blows. Thoughts and feelings move across the surface, but the depth remains peaceful and undisturbed. This is the place of rest that Buddhism invites us to discover within. So, as you walk this path, invite yourself frequently to come back to the present moment with curiosity and kindness. Notice your breaths. Feel the sensations of your body. Watch your thoughts with gentle interest. Each tiny act of awareness is a step away from struggle and a step toward rest. Remember, mindfulness is not a destination. It is a practice that unfolds with patience and love. Sometimes the mind will wander, and that is perfectly okay. Each time you gently return, you strengthen the habit of peaceful presence. In the end, mindful awareness teaches us that the power to rest lies not outside but inside. It is always available if we choose to see clearly and kindly. This power is the light that helps us stop resisting and start resting. Moment by moment, breath by breath, heart to heart. Suffering and release, the Four Noble Truths. In the quiet and gentle wisdom of Buddhism, there is a simple but powerful teaching called the Four Noble Truths. It is like a map that guides us through the experience of suffering toward the possibility of freedom and peace. This map does not promise an easy or quick escape, but it shows us clearly what suffering is, why it arises, and how we can gently let it go. Understanding these truths is a step toward resting in life instead of constantly resisting. The very first truth is that suffering exists. This might sound obvious, but it is important to really see it fully. Suffering is not just pain or sadness. It includes all kinds of dissatisfaction and discomfort that we experience. From big heartbreaks to small irritations, from loss to worry, from confusion to loneliness. Life, by its nature, includes moments that cause our hearts to ache. This is something universal, something that connects all living beings. The First Noble Truth invites us to stop denying this reality and to look at it with an open heart. When we accept that suffering is part of life, we stop wasting energy fighting an impossible battle to avoid it forever. We learn to meet our pain with honesty and kindness, not with frustration or shame. This acceptance is a doorway out of struggle and into rest. We stop doubling the pain by resisting what already is. The Second Noble Truth offers insight into why suffering arises. It tells us that suffering comes from craving, clinging, and resistance. This craving is the desire for things to be different, happier, safer, clearer, or more certain. We want pleasure without pain, presence without change, perfection without flaws. But life does not work that way. This desire and resistance create a tension inside us, an endless pushing against the flow of reality. The tighter we hold on to what we want or fear, the more suffering tightens its grip. Understanding that craving causes suffering is not about blame. It is about seeing how our natural human habits can also be the source of our pain. And with this understanding comes the hope that if we soften our grip and loosen craving, we can find relief. It's as if we have been carrying a heavy load, and the second truth shows us where that load comes from. The Third Noble Truth brings a powerful message of hope. Suffering can end. This is not just a distant dream, but a possibility right in front of us. When we release craving and resistance, when we stop pushing against life and start resting within it, suffering begins to dissolve. Peace and freedom are possible not by changing everything outside, but by changing how we relate to our experiences inside. Think of a tight fist slowly opening its fingers. As the hand relaxes, tension flows away, and the hand becomes soft and free. This softening is possible for our hearts as well. It does not mean life becomes perfect or without challenge, but it means we find a deep peace beneath the chaos. The Fourth Noble Truth is the path that leads to this end of suffering. This path is a way of living, a practice of mindfulness, ethics, wisdom, and compassion that helps us walk gently through life. It offers us tools to recognize suffering, to understand its roots, and to let go of the habits that keep us stuck. Buddha taught this path not as a strict set of rules, but as a guide to be discovered through experience. It invokes patience and kindness toward ourselves as we learn step by step. Every small act of awareness, every moment of letting go, is part of this path. Like planting seeds in a garden, each gentle effort helps peace grow stronger over time. Knowing the Four Noble Truths is like holding a lantern in a dark forest. We can begin to see clearly where our struggles come from and where the way forward lies. We realize that resistance, the fighting and pushing against life, is the source of much of our suffering. But when we stop resisting, when we allow ourselves to rest in what is, we start to find freedom. This resting is not a giving up, but a brave and tender surrender to life exactly as it is. It is a deep trust that beneath all change and difficulty is a calm and steady peace waiting to be known. The Four Noble Truths guide us to that peace by showing us the truth about suffering and the possibility of release. As you reflect on these truths, you might wonder, where in my life am I holding on too tightly? What craving or resistance keeps me from resting? Can I meet my suffering with a soft heart and a quiet mind? These questions are gentle invitations to look more deeply within. Remember, this journey is not about perfection or racing to a goal. It is about slowly waking up to the wisdom that suffering and peace can live side by side. It is about learning to rest in the middle of life's changes, holding yourself with care and courage. Each step you take on this path is precious. The Four Noble Truths are not just ancient teachings, they are alive every moment, offering you a chance to stop resisting and start resting. Your heart already knows this way. It simply needs your attention and kindness to begin walking. May you find strength in this understanding, and may it gently guide you toward a life of ease and peace, no matter what arises. In this resting, suffering does not disappear like magic. Instead, it changes its form and meaning. It becomes a teacher, a doorway, a part of a greater journey where your heart learns to be soft, open, and free. This is the promise of the Four Noble Truths, the promise that within suffering lies the seed of release, and within release lies the art of resting fully in life. The nature of impermanence. In the gentle heart of Buddhist wisdom, there is a teaching that touches everything we experience. It is called impermanence, the simple truth that all things change, nothing stays the same forever. This reality, often difficult to accept at first, is actually a key that frees us from suffering and leads us toward rest. When we deeply understand impermanence, we learn to let go of the struggle to hold tightly to what cannot be held. Imagine the leaves on a tree during the seasons. In spring, leaves bud fresh and green. In summer, they grow full and bright. In autumn, they change color and fall away. In winter, branches stand bare, waiting quietly for spring again. None of these moments lasts forever. The tree itself changes with time, just as our lives change. This natural flow is the essence of impermanence. At times, the fact that everything changes can feel scary or sad. We fear losing what we love, our youth, our health, or the connections we cherish. But beneath these feelings lies a deeper truth. Change is the constant rhythm of life. It is neither good nor bad. It simply is. When we learn to flow with change instead of resisting it, we open the door to peace. Resistance to impermanence is like trying to keep water in a clenched fist. The harder we squeeze, the more water slips away. The struggle itself causes pain. Yet, when we open the hand, the water flows freely, and peace returns. This metaphor holds the heart of Buddhist teaching, to stop fighting against change and start resting in its natural movement. Our attachment to permanence, to things staying the same, feeds much of our suffering. We want certainty, safety, and the feeling that we can control life's outcome. But control is often an illusion. Life surprises us with its shifts, sometimes gentle, other times sudden. The more we cling, the more we resist what is real, and the more suffering grows. Impermanence is not only about external changes, but also about the changing nature of our own mind and body. Our thoughts come and go like clouds. Our feelings rise and fall like the waves of the ocean. Even our sense of self is fluid, evolving with each breath and experience. Recognizing this lets us relax our grip on the idea that we must be fixed or unchanging. Buddhism encourages us to see impermanence not as a loss but as a gift. It reminds us that because nothing stays the same, every moment is precious. Each breath, each smile, each touch is unique and can never be repeated. When we truly see this, we begin to value presence over possession and experience over clinging. This seeing is like a gentle light shining on the world. It helps us understand why holding on so tightly only brings pain, and why resting with change brings freedom. We start to trust the flow of life, knowing that like the seasons, difficult times will pass and new beginnings will come. It takes courage to face impermanence because it asks us to let go of safety nets and old beliefs. But it also invites deep compassion for ourselves and for all beings who are also living through this constant change. We are united in the dance of birth, growth, decay, and rebirth. This shared journey connects us in profound ways. Practicing awareness of impermanence can start simply. Notice the small changes around you, the sun rising and setting, the way flowers bloom and fade, the rhythm of your own breath. When feelings of fear or anxiety arise about loss or change, gently remind yourself that this too is impermanent. Like clouds in the sky, these feelings will pass. As this understanding grows, it softens the edges of resistance. We begin to see that struggle against change tightens the heart, while acceptance opens it. In this openness, we find rest, not because the world becomes easier, but because we become more peaceful within it. There is a story in Zen teaching that speaks beautifully about impermanence. A monk asked the master, "What is the way of the Buddha?" The master replied, "Everything changes. This is the way." This simple answer holds vast meaning. When everything changes, peace is found not by fighting, but by flowing with life's endless unfolding. Impermanence also teaches us gratitude. When we know that moments are fleeting, we value them more deeply. We learn to live fully in the present, recognizing that life's beauty is often subtle and brief. Gratitude becomes a natural companion on the path of resting instead of resisting. Through impermanence, we come to understand that rest is not a pause from life but a way of being within life's constant change. Rest is the gentle space inside us that does not cling, does not push, but simply allows life to be as it is. From this place, we can move with ease and grace, no matter what arises. As you reflect on impermanence, ask yourself gently, what am I holding on to that is changing already? Where can I practice opening my hand and trusting the flow of life? What moments today can I fully embrace, knowing they will never come again? These questions invite a soft turning toward rest, a rest that is alive, responsive, and free. They remind us that we do not need to resist the river of life, but can learn to float with it, peaceful and steady. May the awareness of impermanence open your heart to the simplicity and beauty of each moment. May it help you relax your resistance and discover the gentle rest that is always waiting within you, like a quiet river flowing beneath the surface of your busy mind. Non-attachment, freeing the mind. In the gentle teachings of Buddhism, there is a profound and loving idea called non-attachment. At first, this may sound strange or even difficult. How can we live without holding on to what we love? How can we let go of the things and people that matter to us? But non-attachment is not about losing or giving up. It is about freeing the heart and mind from suffering caused by clinging too tightly to what is always changing. Imagine holding a bird in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly, trying to keep the bird captive, you may harm it or cause it pain. But if you hold your hand softly, the bird feels safe and may even come back to perch on your fingers freely whenever it wishes. This is the spirit of non-attachment, holding life's joys and sorrows with a gentle, loving hand, without grasping so tightly that we cause suffering for ourselves or others. Attachment is a natural feeling. We all want comfort, security, and happiness. We form bonds with people, treasure belongings, and identify with our ideas and beliefs. These attachments give life meaning and connection. Yet, when we become too attached, when we cling to things as if they are the only source of our happiness or sense of being, our minds grow restless and heavy. We become afraid of losing these attachments, and that fear leads to suffering. In Buddhism, non-attachment invites us to see that clinging to permanence in an impermanent world is like trying to hold water in your fist. It will always slip through. When we understand that everything is ever-changing, from our emotions to our relationships, we begin to see non-attachment not as emptiness or loss but as a gentle freedom. It is the wisdom of allowing life to unfold without resistance or grasping. This wisdom is not about detachment or coldness, as some might fear. Non-attachment is full of love and presence. It means we can love deeply, care sincerely, and engage fully with life, but we do so without tying our happiness to conditions outside our control. When we practice non-attachment, we live with open hands and open hearts, ready to welcome whatever comes and to release it when it must go. To live with non-attachment is to free the mind from endless striving and worry. Our thoughts often circle like restless birds, flitting between desire and fear. We want more of what pleases us and want to avoid what hurts us. This pushing and pulling causes tension and suffering. Through non-attachment, we learn to let these thoughts come and go gently, without holding on or pushing away. The Buddha taught that attachment is one of the root causes of suffering. When we cling to ideas about how life should be, we resist reality. And the more we resist, the more painful life feels. Non-attachment guides us to meet life with curiosity and acceptance, freeing us from the chains of should and opening us to what is. A beautiful way to practice non-attachment is through mindful observation, watching our thoughts and feelings as they arise and fade without joining the rush. When we notice a craving or an aversion, we acknowledge it kindly without acting on it immediately. This creates a space between experience and reaction where freedom can blossom. Storytelling in Zen often uses simple images to show this truth. One tale tells of a young monk carrying a heavy load of sticks. At first, he bound the sticks tightly together, making them hard to manage. A wise elder advised him to loosen his grip. When he did, the load felt lighter, easier to carry. Non-attachment is like loosening our grip on life's sticks, so our burden lightens, and we walk more freely. This practice of loosening is a gradual unfolding. It takes patience, for clinging habits are deeply rooted in our minds. But with gentle persistence, we learn to notice when we start holding too tightly. Be it to a feeling, a person, an outcome, or even an identity, and we simply breathe and choose to open our hand. Non-attachment also frees us from judgment and blame. When we hold on to expectations about how people or situations should be, we create inner conflict. Instead, non-attachment invites us to accept others and ourselves as we are, imperfect and changing, without needing to control or fix. This acceptance grows compassion, both for ourselves and the world. In daily life, non-attachment is practiced through simple acts. Letting go of the need to be right in an argument, releasing a past hurt, or surrendering the desire for control in uncertain situations. Each time we choose to loosen our grip, even a little, we open a doorway to peace. Non-attachment also reminds us that our true self is not in possessions, roles, or titles, but in the open heart that witnesses all things with kindness. When we stop identifying so strongly with external things, we discover a freedom that is always present, a quiet, steady presence beneath life's changing waves. There is a gentle power in this freedom. It does not make us indifferent or careless. Rather, it invites us to engage with life fully, tenderly, and with great love. We become like the bird that is free to fly but always returns home, the river that flows freely yet nourishes all it touches. As you walk this path, remember that non-attachment is a gift you give yourself, a softening of the heart and mind that lightens your steps and opens your eyes to the wonders of life unfolding. It is not about having less, but about loving more deeply without the pain of clinging. So ask yourself gently, where am I holding on too tightly? What fears or desires cause me to resist life? How can I open my hands today and rest in the freedom of non-attachment? This is the heart of non-attachment, an invitation to live with ease, grace, and warmth. It is the practice that frees the mind from struggle, allowing rest to enter softly and deeply. May this awareness gently guide you toward a life where the heart can be both open and free, where love flows without bounds, and where peace rests within you like a quiet lamp lighting your way, no matter the storms outside. In embracing non-attachment, you step onto a path where resistance falls away, and the gentle rest of the present moment can be truly known. This is the wisdom and the freedom of the Buddha's teaching, a journey of love, release, and peaceful living, resting in the present moment. In the quiet teachings of the Buddha, one of the most beautiful and healing ideas is the power of resting in the present moment. This means being fully here, right now, in the life that is unfolding before you, without running away into the past or rushing ahead to the future. To rest in this moment is to stop resisting life's flow and to find peace in the simple fact of being. Often, our minds carry us away like a strong wind. We replay old memories, worry about what might happen next, or plan endlessly for tomorrow. This habit pulls us away from where we truly live, right here, right now. Can feel like living in a fog where things are distant and unclear. The present moment, so alive and rich, is often missed because the mind is busy elsewhere. Imagine a small child playing in a garden, completely absorbed in the colors, textures, and sounds around them. The child is not thinking about yesterday's worries or tomorrow's plans, but is fully present, delighting in what is. This natural presence is a reminder of how we all can rest, by simply coming back to what is unfolding in this very breath. Buddhism gently teaches us that the present moment is the only real place where life happens. The past is memory and the future a possibility, but the present is the touch point of experience, the place where rest begins. When we resist the present, by dwelling on the past or fearing the future, our hearts become restless and heavy, caught in struggle. Resting in the present means opening our senses fully to what is happening now. Feel the air on your skin, Listen to the sounds around you. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. This simple practice grounds us in the here and now and invites a deep calm because it stops the rushing and the pushing. Sometimes, resting in the present can feel difficult, especially when pain or discomfort arises. Our first impulse might be to escape these feelings, to distract ourselves with thoughts or actions. But Buddhism encourages a gentle pause, to lean into the moment with kindness, to allow whatever is here to be, like holding a fragile flower delicately in your hand. This pause is not weakness or resignation. It is courage born of love and wisdom. It is the willingness to be with ourselves fully, especially when life feels hard, without turning away. In this willingness, the heart softens, resistance melts, and rest gently flows in. The present moment is also like a resting place from the constant doing that fills much of our days. We live in a world that often praises busyness and achievement, yet the Buddha shows us the deep value of just being. Resting does not mean laziness. It means opening a sacred space inside where we can reconnect with the quiet strength that is always available. There is a saying in Zen that captures this perfectly. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It reminds us that even ordinary moments can be sacred when we bring presence and rest to them. It is not about escaping life but being truly alive in every breath and every step. Practicing rest in the present can start with small moments throughout the day. A few mindful breaths before getting up, a pause to notice the taste of your food, a moment to truly listen when someone speaks. Each of these is a doorway into presence and rest. These small acts create a thread of calm that runs through the fabric of the day. When the mind drifts into worry or blame, rather than catching these thoughts and getting carried away, we can gently return attention to the present with a soft smile. This kindness toward ourselves is like a nurturing hug, reminding us that it is okay to fall, to wander, and to come back again and again. Buddhist meditation practices often emphasize this resting in the present. Sitting quietly, focusing on the breath or sensations, we learn to be with ourselves fully. At first, this may seem to highlight restlessness or distraction, but with patient practice, the mind begins to settle like a pond left undisturbed. In that stillness, true rest is found. There is also a deep freedom in resting in the present. When we stop chasing after the future or rehashing the past, we free ourselves from much of the suffering created by our own minds. We become like the sky, vast, open, and unaffected by passing clouds. No matter what thoughts or feelings arise, the space within remains calm. This freedom invites us to live life with greater ease and joy. We notice beauty where before there was only routine. Our hearts open to connection, and we respond to life's challenges with wisdom rather than reaction. Resting in the now gives us strength to flow with life's changes rather than fight them. A touching story from the Buddha's life illustrates the power of this rest. Once, a disciple asked, "How can I find peace when the world around me is full of suffering?" The Buddha smiled and said, "Look carefully at this moment. Life is here, always new. Rest in this moment, and peace will find you." This simple instruction holds the key to gentle liberation. As you reflect on resting in the present, ask yourselves, what moment can I be fully here with right now? Where am I lost in thought or worry, missing the peace beneath? What might it feel like to breathe deeply and just be, wherever I am? These questions open the heart's door to rest, a rest that is ever present, ever welcoming. Resting in the present moment is a practice and a gift. a way to meet life with a soft heart and steady mind. May this teaching cradle you gently as you learn to stop resisting the rush of time and start resting in the quiet, sacred now. May your heart find ease in the unfolding moments, and may peace dwell within you like the calm center of a turning wheel. This is the way of rest, the beautiful art of being fully here, fully alive, and softly at peace. In this resting, your true nature shines, clear and steady, like a gentle flame glowing softly in the stillness of night, bringing warmth to your journey ahead. Meditation practices, pathways to rest. In the heart of Buddhist teaching lies a precious gift, a way to rest deeply amid life's storms. This gift is meditation. Meditation is not complicated or mysterious. It is simply a way we can gently turn inward and discover the quiet space of peace that always lives within us. It is like opening a door inside, where the mind can rest, the heart can soften, and we can remember who we truly are. Imagine your mind as a crowded room, filled with noisy thoughts and restless feelings. Meditation is like inviting those voices to settle down, like lowering the volume slowly until silence or gentle calm arrives. This silence is not empty or cold but warm, open, and alive with tenderness. It is a space without struggle, where the burdens of resisting life's flow begin to melt away. Many people think meditation means sitting still for hours, trying to stop the mind from thinking altogether. But true meditation is much simpler and kinder than that. It is a gentle practice of paying attention, returning again and again to the present moment, no matter how busy or noisy our mind is. When we do this patiently, we create a pathway to rest that is always available. One common meditation practice in Buddhism is mindfulness of breathing. This means simply noticing the breath as it flows in and out, like waves on the shore, without trying to change it. The breath is a perfect companion. It is always with us, steady and natural. When we focus softly on the breath, the busy mind begins to slow, and the heart finds rest. This practice is not about forcing the mind to be quiet, but about welcoming it kindly. If a thought or feeling arises, we do not push it away or get frustrated. Instead, we gently notice it and then bring our attention back to the breath. Slowly, we learn that thoughts come and go like birds flying across the sky. We do not need to chase them or catch them. This understanding brings a deep relief. Another meditation practice is loving kindness, or metta meditation. Here, the heart is opened by sending goodwill and compassion, not only to ourselves but to others as well. We begin by wishing ourselves happiness, safety, and peace. Then, little by little, we extend this warm wish to people we love, people we find neutral, and even to those we struggle with. This practice softens the heart and heals resistance born from fear or separation. Meditation also invites us to be curious about our inner world without judgment. Sometimes we sit quietly and simply observe the sensations of the body, from the tip of the fingers to the top of the head, just noticing what is happening. Other times we watch emotions as they rise and fall, or thoughts as they drift by. This gentle witnessing teaches us that these experiences are temporary. They do not define us, and we can rest beneath them, untouched. There is no need to rush or achieve anything in meditation. The practice is a kindness to ourselves, a regular invitation to return home to rest. Like visiting a dear friend, each session is an opportunity to reconnect with that quiet center inside, a well of stillness and love we can drink from whenever life feels overwhelming. Often, when we begin meditation, the mind may jump around quickly, making us feel frustrated or impatient. But this is very natural. The mind is like a wild horse, needing time and gentle guidance to become calm. With patience, we learn to ride the horse gently rather than being pulled by it. Each moment of returning attention to the breath or a loving wish is a victory, a little rest gained. The benefits of meditation reach beyond the quiet moments on the cushion. As the practice deepens, it influences daily life. We become more aware of the moments we are resisting. When anger rises, when worry clutches, or when sadness settles. Instead of being swept away, we find a pause, a space where we can choose to rest rather than react. This pause transforms how we relate to ourselves and the world. We begin to live with more kindness, more patience, more peace. The tension of wanting things to be different loosens. The heart opens to accept what is, and in that acceptance, true rest unfolds. Buddhist stories often speak of meditation as a way to clear the clouds so the sun can shine. The clouds are our fears, desires, and confusion. Meditation does not chase these clouds away by force but gently allows them to pass, revealing the bright, steady sky, the pure awareness beneath all complications. There are many different forms of meditation in Buddhism: walking meditation, chanting, visualization, and more. Each offers a unique way to touch rest and deepen understanding. But at the heart of all these practices is the same simple truths. Rest is found in presence and kindness to ourselves and what is. It is important to remember that meditation is not about escaping life or shutting down emotions. It is about being fully present, even with difficulty, and learning to rest in the midst of it all. This resting brings freedom, the freedom to live without carrying the heavy weight of resistance. If you are new to meditation, start small. Even a few minutes each day can create a ripple of calm that spreads outward into all parts of your life. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and simply notice your breath. When the mind wanders, smile softly and bring attention back. Over time, this gentle habit becomes a refuge you carry within you. In moments of chaos, meditation is like a soft hand on the shoulder, reminding us to breathe, to slow down, to rest. It teaches that rest is not something we find outside but a gift already inside us, ready to be uncovered with patience and love. So, as you continue on this path, consider meditation not as a task but as a kind homecoming. Each moment you sit quietly is a precious opportunity to drop resistance and enter rest. No matter how your mind behaves, no matter what arises, you are always welcome to come back to this gentle way of being. May your meditation practice bless you with deep peace, tender self-love, and the sweet rest that flows from simply being here, now. May it teach you that in every breath, every moment, the pathway to rest is open, wide, and waiting for you, for me, for all beings. In this resting, may you find freedom, a freedom that is soft, steady, and full of heart, cultivating compassion for self. In the gentle path of Buddhism, one of the most tender and healing teachings is compassion. Not just compassion for others, but the often overlooked, yet deeply vital compassion for ourselves. Cultivating compassion for self is like planting a soft garden of kindness and understanding in the heart where struggle has taken root. It is this inner warmth that helps us stop resisting and start resting, because when we care gently for ourselves, the harshness of resistance begins to fade away. Imagine a mother holding her child when he is frightened and crying. She does not scold him or tell him to stop. She simply embraces him with love and reassurance. This is the kind of tender compassion we can learn to offer ourselves, not as a weakness, but as a powerful act of courage and healing. Often, we are hardest on ourselves, judging our mistakes, beating ourselves up over things we cannot change, or feeling unworthy of peace and rest. But the Buddha invites us to treat ourselves with the same kindness that we would give to that child. Self-compassion means recognizing our own pain and struggles without denial or avoidance. It means being present with ourselves when we feel lost, afraid, or overwhelmed, rather than pushing those feelings away with criticism or busyness. This presence, soft, accepting, patient, is a balm to the tired, resistant heart. Tells us, you are enough. You are worthy of love and care, just as you are. The roots of resistance often lie in harsh self-judgment and unrealistic expectations. We want to be perfect, to have everything under control, to never fail or feel weak. When we fall short, we resist the reality of our humanity and feel shame or frustration. This internal resistance becomes a heavy chain that keeps us restless and distant from rest. Compassion for self gently unlocks these chains by replacing judgment with understanding. Buddhism encourages us to develop what is called mindful self-compassion. It combines mindfulness, the clear, non-judgmental awareness of what is happening inside, with a loving attitude toward ourselves. When painful feelings arise, instead of pushing them away or criticizing ourselves, we pause, acknowledge the feelings with kindness, and speak gently to ourselves. This simple practice opens a space where healing can begin and resistance softens. There is an ancient teaching in the Buddhist tradition about the 3 doors of liberation. One of these doors is compassion, compassion for ourselves and for others. This door opens a path from suffering to peace. When we walk through it, we discover that rest is not an outside reward but a loving embrace within, accessible anytime we reach out to care for ourselves. It can be difficult at first to offer compassion inwardly because so much of modern life encourages self-criticism or self-neglect. But even the smallest act of kindness to oneself, like a soft breath, a gentle word, or a moment of rest, plants a seed of deep healing. Over time, these seeds grow into a strong, nourishing garden of self-love that supports us through life's challenges. Sometimes, we might ask, is self-compassion selfish or self-indulgent? The Buddhist answer is beautifully clear. True compassion for self is neither selfish nor indulgent. It is essential. Like the oxygen mask on an airplane, we must care for ourselves before we can fully care for others. When our own heart is tender and rested, our capacity to love and be present for the world naturally expands. Practicing self-compassion also changes how we handle mistakes and failures. Instead of beating ourselves up or shutting down, we learn to respond with curiosity, patience, and encouragement. We become our own gentle teachers and friends, guiding ourselves through life with wisdom rather than harshness. This shift transforms resistance into acceptance and struggle into rest. A compassionate heart towards oneself creates soft ripples that spread outward. As we rest in self-kindness, we find more balance, resilience, and understanding for the imperfections in ourselves and those around us. Compassion transforms isolation into connection and struggle into shared humanity. Daily life offers many moments to practice self-compassion. When you notice a critical thought arise, pause and gently reframe it with kindness. When your body feels tired or tense, offer it rest and care instead of pushing harder. When emotions rise, welcome them softly rather than react harshly. Each of these small actions is a thread in the fabric of compassion that strengthens your inner peace. There is a touching story of a monk who, after long practice, was asked what he had learned. He replied simply, "I have learned to be kind to myself again." This kindness was not childish softness, but a mature, profound strength that allowed him to rest deeply in the midst of life's difficulties. Compassion for self invites us to meet ourselves as we are, vulnerable, imperfect, yet whole and worthy. It encourages us to drop the burdens of blame and resistance, and instead rest in the gentle presence of acceptance and care. This resting heart is like a warm fire on a cold night, a quiet harbor in a storm, a soft touch when the world feels hard. As you walk your path, ask yourself kindly, how do I talk to myself in moments of struggle? Where can I offer greater kindness and understanding? What small act of care can I give myself today? These simple questions open us to the healing power of self-compassion. They remind us that we do not need to earn rest through endless striving or perfection. Rest is our natural right, a gift that comes alive when we turn toward ourselves with warmth and love. Through cultivating compassion for self, resistance loses its hold. The heart becomes a gentle home where peace can rest deeply, and life flows with ease and grace. This is the tender wisdom Buddhism offers, a way of living that embraces our struggles without fear and transforms resistance into rest with the power of love. May your heart grow soft with compassion. May you find in this kindness a sanctuary that holds you gently and a strength that carries you steadily. In this compassion, may you stop resisting and start resting fully, just as you are, just where you are, deeply, peacefully free. The wisdom of non-doing. In the gentle spirit of Buddhist teaching, there is a profound and delicate idea known as non-doing. At first, this may sound like doing nothing or simply being idle, but non-doing is much deeper and richer than that. It is a way of living and being that invites us to rest from the constant push and striving, a letting go of restless effort and a soft trust in the natural unfolding of life. Non-doing is the wisdom that shows us how to stop resisting and to start resting with grace and ease. Imagine a river flowing smoothly along its course. It does not force the water to move, nor does it block the stream. Instead, it allows the water to find its own way naturally, embracing the bends and curves with ease. This river does not rush or strain. It simply is. This is non-doing, not a passive emptiness, but a lively, flowing presence that moves without struggle. We often believe that life must be about constant action, working harder, fixing problems, chasing goals. This mindset makes us tired and causes great stress because it pushes against the natural rhythm of life. Non-doing teaches us there is a different way, a way of gentle attention and trust, where our actions arise from clarity and openness rather than from anxious effort or resistance. To understand non-doing, we first recognize how much energy is spent in trying to control, change, or force outcomes. When we resist what is, our minds become tight and restless. We act from impatience, fear, or frustration, and this only deepens our struggle. Non-doing invites us to soften this tension, to pause, breathe, and allow life to be as it is, even if it doesn't match our desires or plans. Non-doing is not about becoming passive or giving up. Rather, it is the wise choice of when to act and when to rest, when to push forward and when to allow space. It is like a dance between doing and non-doing, a flow where we do not waste effort in useless struggle but respond harmoniously to the moment's needs. In this way, non-doing includes being fully present and engaged, yet without attachment to results or insistence on control. It is a mindful surrender that lets the deeper wisdom within guide our steps, like a calm sea wave that knows when to rise and when to fall without resistance. Buddhist stories often highlight this balance. There is a teaching of the Zen master who, when asked how to live without struggle, simply said, "Be like a tree that rests in the breeze. It does not resist the wind but bends gently, never breaking." This story reminds us that strength lives in softness, and rest lives in surrender. Non-doing also connects deeply with the idea of Wu Wei from Taoist philosophy, which means effortless action. This is action that flows naturally, without force or strain, arising from harmony with the world rather than battling it. When we practice non-doing, our actions are more effective and our hearts are more peaceful. We can practice non-doing in everyday life in many small ways. When difficulties arise, instead of reacting immediately with tension or trying to fix everything, we take a breath and listen deeply to what the situation requires. Sometimes the best response is patience and stillness, waiting with trust for the right moment to act. In moments of strong emotion, anger, fear, or sadness, non-doing invites us not to push these feelings away or act impulsively, but to be with them gently, allowing them to flow through us. This gentle allowance does not mean we are overwhelmed. It means we rest in a calm presence that can hold whatever arises. Non-doing is like a soft cushion under the feet during a difficult walk. It supports without effort, offering a quiet strength that carries us without struggle. When we rest in this wisdom, resistance falls away because we learn that trying too hard often blocks the natural unfolding of life's gifts. There is also a deeper spiritual aspect to non-doing. It shows us that our true nature is already whole, complete, and at peace. We do not need to do anything special to become this. The restless doing is often a search for something outside ourselves. But non-doing invites us to realize that within each moment, rest and freedom are already here. Meditation and mindfulness are practices that help us realize non-doing. Sitting quietly, we learn to watch thoughts come and go without chasing or pushing them away. We practice being with what is, neither adding nor subtracting, just resting in the flow of awareness. This resting in awareness reveals that behind all the noise is a natural stillness waiting to be known. It is important to remember that non-doing does not mean irresponsibility or laziness. Instead, it is the mature wisdom of timing and harmony. Like a skilled gardener who knows when to water and when to let the earth rest, we learn to act with care and patience. In daily life, non-doing can transform how we handle conflict, stress, and challenges. Instead of fighting or avoiding, we practice stepping back softly, creating space for things to settle and resolve on their own. This can bring peace not only to ourselves but also to those around us. The power of non-doing lies in its paradox. By doing less, we accomplish more. By resting more, we move forward more freely. Resistance weakens and rest strengthens. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching, for when we stop pushing and start allowing, we find the gentle path that leads to peace. So, as you walk this path, ask yourself gently, where am I pushing too hard? Where can I pause and simply be? What might happen if I trusted life to unfold in its own time, while I rest softly in the present? These questions open the heart's door to non-doing, a space of peace that is always available, always ready to welcome us home. In this space, we find a rest that is alive and flowing, a rest that carries us gently through all things. May the wisdom of non-doing guide you with softness and strength. May it bring you ease when the world feels heavy and courage when rest is needed most. And may you discover that in the gentle art of non-doing, the deepest rest and peace await, ready to cradle your heart with love and grace. Breath and body, embodied rest. In the tender teaching of Buddhism, the connection between breath and body holds a special key to rest. Often, when life feels hectic or heavy, we forget to come back to our own bodies, to the simple rhythm of breathing that quietly through all moments carries us like a gentle tide. This offering, to breathe deeply and feel the body with kindness, is a pathway into rest that is always present, always accessible, and profoundly healing. Imagine the breath as a soft breeze flowing through a vast meadow. It moves steadily, sometimes slow and gentle, sometimes quicker with the seasons, but always alive and breathing. The body is like the earth beneath, grounding us, holding the breath's flow. When the breath dances freely in the body, we find a rest deeper than sleep, a deep rest where tension melts and the heart softens. Yet, when resistance rises inside, stress, worry, fear, we often hold the breath tight, shallow, or quick. The body becomes tense like a coiled spring, chest tight, muscles clenched. This tension is a physical expression of struggling in the mind. The harder we resist, the more disconnected we become from the natural ease of breathing and being. Buddhism invites us to return to the breath not as a mechanical act but as a loving friend who meets us exactly where we are. Breath can be a guide back home, to the present moment, to the body, to the soft rest that is our true nature. Resting in the breath means noticing it without forcing or changing it. Feel the air as it enters gently through your nostrils, fills your lungs, and then flows out with ease. Each inhale brings fresh energy. Each exhale releases tightness, pain, or fear. This simple awareness begins to loosen the grip of resistance, allowing the body and heart to soften. The body is more than a container of life. It is a living temple where rest can be found. Buddhists teach that by bringing mindful attention to bodily sensations, we anchor ourselves in the present and open to healing. Sometimes, we carry emotional pain in our backs, shoulders, or stomachs without realizing it. By tuning in gently, we can acknowledge these tensions and offer them kindness, and often they begin to ease. Take a moment now to feel your feet on the ground, the weight of your body as it rests in your chair, the way your hands feel in your lap. This simple act of noticing is like a message to the mind and body. It's okay to slow down. You are safe to rest here. Each small invitation to feel the body brings a welcoming presence that quiets resistance. Breath and body also teach us about cycles, rhythms of tension and release, effort and ease. When we try to fight exhaustion or push through stress, we often ignore these natural cycles and tire ourselves more. The wisdom of embodied rest is to honor these rhythms, to breathe with the effort but also to rest in the release. Meditative practices such as body scans or gentle yoga help deepen this awareness. Slowly moving attention from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, we learn to inhabit our bodies fully, to appreciate the miracle of sensation and life in each part. This practice helps us catch moments of tension before they tighten into resistance, and it offers a way to consciously invite softness. There is also a powerful healing in intentional pauses throughout the day, brief breaks where you stop and take 3 deep, conscious breaths. These pauses remind the nervous system to shift from fight or flight to rest and digest. It's as if your whole being is given a small gift of peace amid the busyness. Our breath naturally links body and mind. When the breath is calm, the mind can settle. When the body is relaxed, the heart opens. This triad, breath, body, heart, is at the core of embodied rest. Cultivating this harmonious flow helps dissolve resistance and invites repose even in difficult times. Buddha himself often taught through simple awareness of the breath. It was a tool to quiet turbulence inside and awaken to the silent depths beyond struggle. This teaching remains as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago because it speaks to the universal human experience. Sometimes fears arise that resting in the body or breath might mean sinking into numbness or escaping reality. But true embodied rest is very different. It is waking up with compassion, being present with life, not running away but coming to meet it in the whole of your being. It is strength paired with softness. When we avoid our bodies, we risk disconnecting from our truth and our capacity for joy. When we embrace breath and body, we connect deeply to our aliveness and to the flow of life itself. This connection is a sanctuary where resistance loses its power and rest becomes natural. There's a gentle story told among Buddhist practitioners about a monk who, after many years of searching for peace, suddenly found it simply by feeling the wind on his face and breathing deeply. In that moment, all striving fell away, and rest bloomed like a flower opening under the sun. This story reminds us that rest is never far. It is right here, in the breathing body, waiting patiently for us to come home. Our shared humanity includes this sacred breath, this living presence that does not demand anything but offers everything. As you reflect on your own journey with breath and body, ask softly, in what ways do I hold my breath or tense my body without realizing it? Where might I offer gentle breathing and soft awareness today? What would it feel like to invite the breath as a kind friend into moments of stress or weariness? These questions invite a tender awakening, a return to the simple rhythms that restore and renew. Through this embodied rest, you step out of resistance and into a flowing peace that embraces all of who you are. May the breath be your constant companion, your gentle guide through the dark and the light. May your body be a sanctuary of softness and strength. And may this union of breath and body lead you into deep, lasting rest. A rest that is alive, present, and full of heart. With each breath you return home. With each moment of mindful presence in the body, you open a door to peace. This is the path of embodied rest, the peaceful art of being fully alive and fully at ease in your own skin. May this teaching cradle you softly as you learn to stop resisting the tight grip of struggle and begin to rest deeply in the sweet, steady rhythm of your breath and body flowing together in gentle harmony. Daily rituals for inner stillness. In the quiet heart of Buddhist teaching, the daily rituals we create can become gentle bridges that carry us from the busy noise of life into the peaceful haven of inner stillness. These simple, loving practices are not about adding more to your to-do list or creating pressure to perform perfectly. Rather, they are tender invitations to pause, breathe, and rest deeply, moments woven into the ordinary flow of each day that bring the gift of calm and gentle presence. Imagine your day like a tapestry, made of many threads, some bright and lively, others dull and heavy. Rituals for stillness are the soft threads that bring balance and harmony. One of the most beautiful things about they help us touch the quiet space inside. They are the sacred place. They do not require special places and rest blooms naturally. Instead, they invite us to slow down and be truly present, even if just for a few breaths or a gentle stretch between activities. In these moments, we begin to peel away the layers of worry, distraction, and struggle, revealing the calm that has always been waiting beneath. Starting the day with a mindful breath or a simple morning intention can be like planting a seed of peace that grows throughout your hours. Before rising from bed, Take a moment to feel the breath flowing slowly in and out. Notice the warmth of your body, the touch of the sheets, and set a kind intention for the day ahead. This small act reminds you that you carry the possibility of rest within you at all times. In Buddhism, setting intentions is a powerful practice. It gives gentle direction to our day without forcing us into rigid plans. For example, you might quietly say to yourself, "May I move through today with kindness and calm," or "I choose to notice moments of peace," or "I will gently return to the breath whenever I feel overwhelmed." These intentions become soft guides that invite the heart to return to stillness again and again. Throughout the day, simple pauses can become precious refuges. When you feel tension rising or notice your mind racing, take a few conscious breaths. Feel your feet on the ground, your body supported, your heart opening just slightly. This small ritual grounds you in the present moment and invites rest. Even in the busiest hours, these tiny pockets of calm are powerful reminders that resistance does not have to rule your experience. Another tender ritual is mindful walking. Whether it's a stroll in the garden, a walk to the kitchen, or a moment outside, walking with awareness connects body, breath, and mind. Feel each step as it touches the earth. Steady, gentle, alive. Notice the sensations in your feet, the movement of your legs, the rhythm of your breathing aligned with your steps. This mindful motion becomes a moving meditation, a beautiful way to rest while being fully present. Many Buddhists find water rituals, like washing the face or hands mindfully, as moments to cleanse not just the body but also the mind. As water touches the skin, let it be a symbol of washing away tension, worries, and resistance. Feel gratitude for the simple gift and the fresh ease it brings. Evening rituals carry deep significance as they prepare the heart and mind to rest peacefully. Closing the day with a few minutes of quiet reflection, gratitude, or gentle stretching can ease the mind's chatter. A mindful exhale, releasing all the day's burdens, invites a softness that cradles you into restful sleep. Saying kind words to yourself, acknowledging your efforts and embracing imperfections, wraps the night in compassion. Buddhist tradition also teaches about metta, or loving kindness practice, as a daily ritual that nourishes the heart. Taking moments to send warm wishes to yourself and others softens resistance born from fear or isolation. You might silently repeat phrases like, "May I be safe, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering," extending these wishes to those you care about, the wider world, and even difficult people in your life. This ritual creates gentle ripples of peaceful energy, connecting your inner stillness with all beings. Journaling can be another kind ritual to invite stillness. Writing down thoughts, feelings, or simple observations with gentle attention helps release mental clutter. It is not about perfection or problem solving, but about witnessing your experience with openness and kindness. In these quiet pages, resistance finds a voice and then gently let go. Rituals of gratitude enhance our connection to the present by highlighting the blessings often hidden in everyday life. Noticing a warm sunbeam, a smile, a nourishing meal, or a steady breath invites appreciation and softens the urge to resist what is. Gratitude opens the heart and folds rest into each moment. While these rituals are gentle, consistency is their strength. Like a tender watering of a garden, daily practices nurture your inner peace over time. The heart learns that rest is not a distant dream or a rare event, but a steady presence unfolding through simple acts of care and awareness. It is important to remember that rituals are personal and ever-evolving. What feels soothing and nourishing for one day may change with the seasons of life. Allow yourself the freedom to explore different rituals, to adapt and create your own, always guided by kindness and choice rather than obligation. There is a sweet story of a humble monk who carried a small bell through his days. Each time he rang it, he paused to breathe and remember the path of peace. The sound was a reminder to return to stillness, no matter how busy or scattered life became. Your daily rituals can be such a bell, soft calls guiding you back home to yourselves. When you bring these rituals into your life, notice how resistance begins to soften. The sharp edges of struggle dull, and a gentle calm unfolds like morning mist lifting from the earth. This stillness is not an escape but a deep engagement with life, seeing clearly, loving tenderly, and resting fully. Ask yourself gently, what small ritual can I bring into my day that invites stillness and rest? How can I create moments of peace woven naturally into my routine? What simple acts remind me that I am always welcome to return to calm? These questions hold an open invitation to cultivate a daily life touched with mindfulness and heart. With each small ritual, you tend the garden of your inner stillness. Over time, this garden blooms into a sanctuary of rest where resistance fades and peace lives fully. May your days be softly wrapped in these gentle rituals, each one a step toward the restful heart you are learning to know. May you find strength in the ordinary and magic in the moments of stillness you cultivate. And may the tender practice of daily ritual keep you steady, warm, and at peace on this beautiful journey of life. Overcoming the habit of struggle. In the gentle and wise teachings of Buddhism, one of the deepest challenges we face is our habit of struggle, this almost automatic way of pushing, fighting, and resisting the flow of life. It often feels like a natural part of our being, but it can quietly weigh on the heart and mind, creating fatigue, frustration, and distance from the peace we long for. To overcome this habit is to learn a softer way, a kinder approach where rest and ease replace constant effort and strain. Think about a time when you were caught in a strong current, a rushing river, or a powerful wind. If you try to fight directly against it, you might get swept away or become exhausted. But if you learn to move with the current, to bend gently like a reed in the wind, you find strength and balance without struggle. This is the heart of overcoming the habit of struggle, letting go of the need to push against what is and learning to flow alongside life. Our minds and bodies develop this habit from childhood. From early on, we are taught to work hard, to resist discomfort, to fix what feels unpleasant. Sometimes this habit is useful, helping us improve or reach goals. But often, the habit turns into a restless, endless fight inside. Against pain, against change, against ourselves. Struggle becomes a pattern. When something doesn't go our way, the mind tightens, the heart flinches, and resistance rises. We try harder, worry more, and forget that there is another way, a way of gentle acceptance and wise rest. This pattern, though it feels natural, blocks the deep rest that life is always inviting us toward. Buddhism teaches us to notice this habit with kindness, not criticism. Like a patient gardener observing a wild vine growing too fast and tangled, we turn gentle attention toward our struggle, understanding it without blame. With mindfulness, we discover the exact moments when the habit flares up, when tension builds, when thoughts race, or when emotions pull us into fight or flight. Once we see struggle clearly, we can begin to change our relationship with it. This change is not about forcing ourselves to be perfect or suddenly stopping all efforts. Rather, it is a soft, gradual unlearning, a letting go of urgency and harshness, and replacing it with patience and understanding. One beautiful Buddhist practice for this is called allowing, is the simple act of opening to whatever is present. The tightness, the fear, the frustration, without pushing it away or trying to fix it immediately. Allowing does not mean we like or approve of struggle, but we stop fueling it with resistance. We make space for it, and in that space, the energy of struggle often begins to soften and lose its grip. Imagine a heavy cloud in the sky. If you try to grab the cloud to stop it, it slips away, causing frustration. But if you watch it calmly, the cloud changes shape, lightens, and eventually drifts apart. Struggle needs this kind of gentle awareness. When we stop clutching it tightly, we find rest. Another essential insight is that struggle often arises from stories we tell ourselves about how life should be, about who we must be, about what should happen. These stories create expectations and judgments, and when reality doesn't match, resistance grows. Buddhism invites us to question these stories kindly and to be willing to see life with fresh eyes, free from old patterns. We practice this questioning by returning to the present moment. When a struggle arises, pause and ask, is this story true in this moment? Can I let go of the need for things to be different? This invitation opens a path away from fight and toward rest. The habit of struggle also lives in the body. Stress tightens muscles, clenches jaws, and causes breath to become shallow. Buddha's teachings encourage us to bring mindful attention to these physical signs of tension. By breathing gently into tight areas and consciously relaxing, we invite the body to let go of the holding that feeds mental struggle. Breath is a wonderful friend here. When we feel caught in struggle, slowing the breath brings the mind home, softening reactivity. Even a few deep, conscious breaths can create cracks in the habit of tension and begin to open the possibility of rest. It is important to remember that overcoming struggle is a journey, not a destination. Old habits do not disappear overnight. They unfold with time, care, and compassion. Each moment we practice kindness towards struggle, each time we allow and soften, is a step forward on the path. The Buddha once taught that liberation is found not by battling the world outside, but by transforming the way we relate to it inside. Our inner landscape changes when we stop warring with life and start embracing it with tenderness and wisdom. There is a gentle story of a monk who was asked how to find peace. He replied, "When you find the struggle rising, do not add fire to fire. Instead, bring water, the water of calm attention and kindness, and the flames will die down." This simple yet profound wisdom shows that we do not need to fight struggle with more struggle. We respond with softness, and peace follows naturally. Daily life offers many chances to practice this transformation. When faced with frustration in traffic, when tensions rise at work, or when difficult emotions emerge at home, remember that you can pause. You can allow what is there without immediate reaction. You can breathe and invite rest into the moment. Through these daily moments, the habit of struggle loses its power. Like sanding a rough surface slowly but surely, softness emerges where once there was hardness. Rest becomes the natural state behind the waves of effort and resistance. As you walk this path, ask yourself, where do I notice the habit of struggle arising? How do I usually respond, by pushing harder or by softening? What small act can I take today to allow and rest instead of fight? These gentle questions open doors to a life where resistance fades and rest grows. They invite you to a new way of being, one where ease and effort dance together in a balanced harmony. May you find courage to meet struggle with kindness. May you discover the deep power of allowing and the gentle strength of resting within life's flow. And may your heart be cradled in the warmth of peace that awakens when the habit of struggle falls away. This is the loving lesson Buddhism offers. A path to stop resisting and start resting. Tenderly, deeply, beautifully. In this resting, the heart becomes a soft harbor, safe and steady amidst the ever-changing waves of life. Buddhist stories, lessons in surrender. In the gentle and loving tradition of Buddhism, stories have always been a way to carry deep wisdom across time and space. These stories are not just tales to entertain but gentle teachers that guide us toward the heart of peace. In this part, we explore stories that illuminate the art of surrender, how letting go of resistance and embracing life as it is can bring us true rest and freedom. One such story speaks of a farmer who lived long ago in a quiet village. This farmer was known for his calm nature and wise heart. One day, his only horse ran away. His neighbors hurried to offer sympathy, saying, "What terrible luck!" But the farmer simply replied, "Maybe so, maybe not." A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 wild horses. The neighbors rejoiced. "What good fortune!" Again, the farmer said softly, "Maybe so, maybe not." Shortly after, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses and was thrown, breaking his leg. The villagers sighed in pity, but the farmer remained calm. "Maybe so, maybe not." Soon after, a war swept the land, and all able-bodied young men were conscripted to fight, except the farmer's son because of his injury. The villagers then saw the farmer's calmness as a blessing. This story reminds us that life's events are never wholly good or bad. Resisting what happens only adds suffering. Surrendering to life's flow brings peace and clarity, just like the farmer's gentle acceptance. Another beautiful story is about the Buddha himself. Before reaching enlightenment, Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath the Bodhi tree, determined to find the truths. Temptations and fears came to him, urging him to give up or fight against the path. But Siddhartha did not resist these challenges. He opened himself to each feeling with calm and clear awareness. His surrender to the moment, free from struggle and aversion, allowed awakening to arise. This surrender was not weakness. It was the greatest strength, the soft power of resting in truth beyond resistance. We also hear stories of Zen masters who taught by example. One famous master was known to respond to every question with silence or a simple, unexpected action. When asked how to live without struggle, he picked up a broom and began sweeping. His students watched quietly as they realized that surrendering to the present moment, doing what is before us fully and simply, was the answer. In this gentle act, resistance melted away, and rest bloomed like a quiet flower. Surrender in Buddhism is closely tied to trust, a trust that beneath all difficulty lies a natural wisdom and peace waiting to be found. This trust does not mean passivity or giving up on life. Instead, it is about flowing with life's currents, knowing that true strength arises from acceptance, not force. It's like a tree in a storm that bends but does not break. The art of surrender also means releasing the illusion of control, the belief that if we just try hard enough or hold on tightly, we can shape life to our wishes. Stories teach us that control is often a cause of stress and suffering. When we let go of this need to control, we free ourselves and open a doorway to rest. One story tells of a young monk who wished to master meditation perfectly. He practiced with great effort, pushing himself to be still and focused. But the harder he tried, the more restless he became. One day, his teacher told him, Let go of trying to control your mind. Just sit and let the mind be as it is. When the monk surrendered his struggle, his mind naturally settled, and peace blossomed effortlessly. This teaches us that forcing peace or rest only builds more tension. True rest arrives when we stop pushing and begin allowing. It is a surrender that is active in its softness, a letting be, not a giving in. Surrender also embraces the wisdom of non-attachment. Stories about the Vajra master, the Zen hermit, or the wandering monk often highlight how their peace came not from having less but from not being bound. They walked through life with open hands and hearts, embracing change and uncertainty with gentle courage. Their surrender was a dance with life's impermanence, a quiet acceptance that freed their spirits. When we practice surrender, we learn to see resistance as a barrier between us and our happiness. Like a child holding a balloon tightly, fearing it will float away, we clutch our worries and fears. But when we open our hands and let the balloon rise, the fear often disappears, and delight fills the heart. Surrender is this act of opening, offering softness to the tight places inside. This soft openness transforms how we meet difficulties too. Instead of battling pain, sorrow, or fear, we learn to face these feelings gently, allowing them to move through us without clinging or pushing away. This kind of surrender is the doorway to healing and rest. There's the story of a woman who suffered great loss. In her grief, she resisted, pushing pain away or distracting herself. After many months, a wise teacher told her to sit with the sorrow as if it were an old friend. At first, this felt impossible, but with time, she learned to hold her grief with kindness, not struggle. Her heart began to rest, and slowly joy returned, not by forgetting pain but by surrendering to it fully. The stories remind us that surrender is a process, not a one-time event. It asks for patience and compassion. Sometimes surrender feels like falling. Other times it is like rising, like a breath moving effortlessly through the body. Each moment offers an invitation to choose rest over resistance. Even in the midst of everyday life, stories encourage us to bring surrender into small moments. When someone says something hurtful, when plans change unexpectedly, when fear or doubt arise, instead of reacting with push and pull, we practice listening softly, breathing deeply, and allowing things to be as they are. This practice gradually dissolves the walls of resistance. Surrender is a kind companion to mindfulness and compassion. Together, they lead us gently away from struggle and into rest. When we surrender, we connect with the deep source of peace that Buddhism holds dear. A peace that is not dependent on circumstance but blooms from trust, presence, and heart. May these stories inspire you to embrace surrender in your own life. May you find courage to release the tight grip of resistance and open your hands to life's unfolding with love. In this surrender, may rest flow into your being like a soft river, steady and true. Remember, surrender is not giving up but giving in to the truth that rest is already here, waiting patiently within you, ready to cradle your heart in softness and light. With each gentle letting go, your spirit rises, resting deeply in the tenderness of life's embrace. This is the art of surrender, the sacred path that leads us all home, to peace, to rest. Modern life and ancient wisdom. In the gentle flow of life, modern times often bring with them a rush, a constant hurry, demands, noise, and pressure that wrap tightly around our hearts and minds. Can feel as if we are running in a whirlwind, caught in many directions at once. Yet, Deep within this fast-moving world, ancient Buddhist wisdom quietly waits like a steady river, offering a way back to rest, to ease, and to peace. The meeting of modern life and ancient teachings is not a clash, but a tender embrace where old and new can blend, showing us how to stop resisting and start resting, even amidst the busyness. Imagine a large, noisy city, a place filled with honking vehicles, flashing lights, and endless activity. In the middle of that city stands a quiet temple, calm and serene. The temple is not separate from the city. It is part of it, offering a sanctuary, a soft breath. In the same way, Buddhist wisdom comes as a sanctuary within modern lives, a gentle reminder that we do not have to be swept away by the storm. Modern technology and life's pace often encourage us to multitask, to keep moving, to be always connected and productive. While progress can be beautiful, this non-stop activity can disconnect us from our deeper selves. Our minds become cluttered with endless information and distractions. Our hearts may feel tired, distant, or restless. Resistance grows when we try to keep up with so much, pushing ourselves beyond natural limits, longing for rest but not knowing how to find it. Ancient Buddhist wisdom meets this challenge by inviting us to pause, not to reject modernity but to find a new way to live within it. It reminds us that no matter how many devices or deadlines we face, the pathway to peace remains the same. Coming back to the present moment, to mindful awareness, and to compassionate rest. These timeless practices help us touch the calm beneath the noise, the stillness beneath the movement. The Buddha lived over 2,000 years ago, in a world very different from ours. Yet his teachings are alive with relevance today. They teach us about the human heart, a heart that longs for happiness but often creates its own suffering through resistance. Modern life can feel like a maze, but the Buddha's wisdom is a simple compass pointing toward rest. One way this ancient wisdom helps us today is by showing us how to create space in our crowded lives. Space to breathe, space to feel, space to notice. Even in a busy office, on a packed subway, or during a noisy family gathering, mindfulness can be a quiet refuge. A brief moment of mindful breathing can stop the restless thoughts, cool the rushing mind, and invite a calm awareness that grounds us. There is a gentle power in small pauses. When faced with difficult emails, traffic jams, or demanding conversations, pausing to feel the breath or noticing the sensations in the body is like planting a seed of peace. These seeds grow in strength over time, helping us build resilience to the pressures around us. We learn that rest is not something we wait for on weekends or vacations. It is a habit we can cultivate anytime, anywhere. Buddhist wisdom also encourages us to question the messages of modern culture, the voices that tell us we must always be better, faster, and more productive. These messages often fuel resistance and anxiety. Instead, the teachings invite us to balance ambition with kindness, effort with rest. They guide us toward a life where success includes peace of mind and softness in the heart. Many people today experience stress, burnout, or feelings of emptiness despite busy schedules and achievements. Buddhism whispers a simple but profound remedy: the possibility of being overdoing, of rest over resistance. This does not mean giving up life's joys or responsibilities, but finding a way to live with less struggle and more ease. The ancient teaching of impermanence is especially helpful in modern lives. When we recognize that all things change, we can let go of the pressure to hold everything steady and unchanging. We learn to flow with the natural rhythms of life, accepting uncertainty and unpredictability without fear. This understanding eases the tight grip that many feel in a world of constant change. Non-attachment, another key teaching, helps us navigate the overwhelming choices and desires modern society presents. We often want more things, more success, more approval, and this craving creates inner tension. Non-attachment invites us to soften this wanting, to love and appreciate without clinging, freeing ourselves to rest in what is enough. Technology itself can be woven into this wisdom. Mindful use of phones or computers means choosing when to engage and when to pause, creating boundaries that protect our rest. Rather than being overwhelmed by constant notifications, we learn to select moments of calm and focused attention, integrating the benefits of modern tools with the peace of ancient practice. In workplaces around the world, mindful awareness programs have begun to show how Buddhist-based practices help reduce stress and increase well-being. People learn that taking brief pauses to breathe and center themselves leads not only to more peace but often to clearer thinking, creativity, and better relationships. This blending of modern science and ancient wisdom is a vibrant dance of rest flowing through practical life. The heart of Dharma in modern life is compassion, for ourselves and for others. Living in a fast world can make it easy to judge or criticize, to feel isolated, or to lose patience. Yet, Buddhist teachings remind us that everyone is struggling in their own way. Developing compassion creates bridges of connection, softening resistance born from loneliness or fear, inviting rest in the warm company of understanding. There is a soft power in slowing down even a little in our daily rhythm. We remember that life is not a race. We make room for simple joys, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, the taste of food. These moments, often overlooked, are gifts that ground us in rest, joy, and gratitude. The challenge of modern life is real, but so is the gentle strength of ancient wisdom. We can listen to the whisper of mindfulness in the chaos, the invitation to kindness when the world feels harsh, the call to rest when exhaustion speaks. These teachings are not distant or dusty. They live within us, ready to guide us home. Ask yourself softly, how can I bring these teachings into my busy days? Where can I pause, breathe, and rest? What small acts of presence or kindness can I offer to myself amid the rush? These simple questions light a path that leads not away from modern life but deeply into it, with an open heart and steady mind. In this way, ancient wisdom becomes a living reality, a tender companion for every moment. May you find the gentle harmony of old and new, the calm within the storm, the rest waiting quietly beneath the surface. May the timeless teachings of Buddhism flow through your modern life like a soothing river, carrying you softly on the journey from resistance to rest. In this soft balance, your heart can breathe freely, your mind can settle gently, and your life can unfold with graceful ease. The beautiful dance of being fully alive, deeply peaceful, and lovingly present. The ripple effect, how rest impacts others. In the beautiful flow of life, everything we do sends ripples outward, like a stone dropped gently into a still pond. When we find rest within ourselves, this calm spreads quietly but powerfully, touching the hearts and lives of those around us. In Buddhist wisdom, there is a deep understanding that rest is never just personal. It is a gift that moves through the web of human connection, creating waves of peace, kindness, and healing far beyond what we can see. Imagine a candle flickering softly in a dark room. When lit, it not only illuminates its own space, but also lends light to others nearby, inviting warmth and comfort into the shared darkness. Our inner rest is this candle. When we rest, we stop battling life's currents internally, and this peaceful presence becomes a gentle light that others can feel and come toward. Much of modern life encourages us to push forward, to solve problems quickly, and to wear our busyness like a badge of honor. Yet, the Buddha teaches us that deep rest is a strength, an inner wellspring that nurtures not only ourselves but everyone we meet. When we carry rest in our heart, it softens our reactions, calms our voices, and opens us to listen with more care. This quiet ripple of ease can transform relationships and communities, even the world itself, one moment at a time. When the mind is calm, it becomes a mirror reflecting kindness rather than turmoil. In times of stress or conflict, resting first allows space for understanding rather than reaction. Have you ever noticed how one calm person in a room can shift the atmosphere? Their steadiness invites others to breathe a little easier, to slow down, to soften. This is the ripple effect of rest, the power of one gentle heart to touch many. Children are especially sensitive to the rhythms of rest and resistance. A parent's peaceful presence can be a harbor of safety and trust. When parents or caregivers embody rest, it teaches children without words how to handle life's ups and downs with grace. It plants seeds of resilience and kindness that grow through generations. This is why taking care of our own rest is also an act of care for the future. In friendships, rest shines as patience and deep listening. When we rest, we are less likely to jump to conclusions or hurry conversations. Instead, we hold space for others' stories and pains with an open, awake heart. This presence is healing because it tells others they are seen and valued beyond their noise or struggles. Communities flourish where rest is welcomed. When people learn to rest together, whether in meditation, shared silence, or kind speech, they build foundations of trust and compassion. These foundations hold firm even in difficulties because they are rooted in the gentle acceptance and openness that rest brings. Buddhist sanghas, or spiritual communities, exist on this principle. Through shared rest and mindfulness, each person nourishes the whole. The ripple effect of rest also teaches us about interconnection. Buddhism speaks of dependent origination, the beautiful truth that nothing exists in isolation. Our peace feeds into others' peace. Our kindness becomes part of a vast web of care. When one person lets go of resistance and rests, it lightens the weight carried by many, even people we may never meet. Sometimes, we may wonder if our small moments of rest make any difference in a world of overwhelming noise and conflict. But Buddhist teaching assures us that every breath of peace counts. Like a single drop of water joining a river, our rest flows into the larger current of collective healing and transformation. Learning to live this ripple effect also invites humility and gratitude. We see that rest is not something we hoard or keep to ourselves, but a shared treasure flowing freely. Each time we offer rest, from a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, or simply being present, we are both giver and receiver, caught in a gentle cycle of care. The ripple effect touches our work lives too. Approaching tasks with a rested mind and heart means we act with clarity and kindness rather than rush or frustration. This attitude improves cooperation, understanding, and creativity. Resting actually helps us be more effective, not less, turning daily challenges into opportunities for gentle growth. There is a tender story from a wise teacher who observed a community struggling with tension and discord. He gathered them and taught a simple breathing meditation. At first, people doubted that quiet breath could change anything. But over time, The shared moments of rest softened anger and opened hearts. The whole village began to heal, not through grand actions but through a steady ripple of peaceful presence spreading from one to another. In our own lives, the practice of resting can be a seed of this change. When you notice your breath slowing, your heart softening, your mind settling, remember that this gentle peace is a gift you give not only to yourself but to all who cross your path. Think gently, where in my life can I offer more rest? Not just for myself, but for others? How can my calm presence bring light and ease to those around me? What simple acts of kindness and patience ripple beyond the moment and into the future? These questions open us to the expansive power of rest to heal and connect. They remind us that peace is contagious and that through our own transformation, we contribute to a more gentle and loving world. May you find joy in this ripple effect of rest. May your stillness calm troubled waters. May your heart's peace reach far and wide, touching lives in ways seen and unseen, like soft waves on an endless sea. Know that in each breath of rest you take, you join a vast chorus of hearts awakening to love, kindness, and ease. This is the beautiful way of Buddhism, the way where stopping resistance is not just personal liberation, but a gift shared with all beings, flowing outward with warmth and grace. As we reach the gentle close of this journey together, it is a beautiful moment to pause and feel deeply the invitation that Buddhism offers us. The invitation to embrace a life of rest, peace, and true ease. Throughout our exploration, we have walked slowly through the wisdom of letting go, the power of mindful presence, the courage of surrender, and the opening of the heart to kindness and compassion. Now, in this final part, we gather all these teachings like precious threads, weaving them into a fabric of living that calls us to stop resisting and start resting, softly, fully, forever. Imagine the quiet after a long storm, when the rain has slowed and the clouds begin to part, revealing a calm, clear sky. This stillness is not empty. It is full of possibility, of peace born from the release of struggle. Your heart is like that sky, vast, clear, and open, waiting to hold life as it is, without grasping or pushing, resting gently in the present. To embrace a restful life is to say yes to the world exactly as it appears. It is an act of courage because life will always have its challenges, its unexpected turns, its moments of pain and joy woven together. Rest does not mean escaping from these experiences or pretending they don't exist. Rather, resting means meeting life with a kind and steady heart, allowing whatever arises to be seen, felt, and honored without opposition. Through the teachings of Buddhism, we learn that resistance is like a weight we carry, often without realizing how heavy it is. When we stop resisting, we lighten our load. We stop adding fire to fire and instead breathe softly into the flame, letting it settle. Resistance may never disappear completely, but its hold becomes gentle, and in the spaces in between, rest can be found like a soft cushion supporting each step. This resting is not a destination far away or a prize to be won. It is always here, within your breath, within your heartbeat, within the quiet spaces between thoughts. It is accessible to everyone, at any moment, no matter where you are or what circumstances surround you. The only thing needed is your willingness to return, to come home to yourself again and again with kindness and patience. Embracing rest is also embracing yourself fully, the light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability. Self-compassion is the tender soil in which rest takes root. When you care for yourself with the softness you would offer a dear friend, the heart settles. the mind calms, and the beautiful rhythm of ease and flow becomes natural. A restful life recognizes the endless dance of impermanence, that all things change, and this change is the fabric of existence. Instead of clinging or pushing against these changes, you open to them with trust. You become like a tree bending in the wind, grounded yet flexible, strong yet soft. Mindfulness is your ever-present companion on this path. Each moment you bring gentle awareness to your breath, sensations, thoughts, or feelings. You weave a thread of peace into your life. Mindfulness does not demand perfection. It only asks for your simple presence, your gentle attention, once again and again. The practice of rest opens the heart to compassion, not just for yourself, but for all beings who also carry unseen burdens and pains. This compassion connects us in our shared humanity. When you rest within, you naturally offer rest to others through kindness, patience, and understanding. The ripple effect of your rest moves quietly across waves of human connection, helping heal the world, one heart at a time. In modern life, where rushing and doing often rule, choosing rest can be a radical act, a quiet revolution inside your own being. You reclaim your right to peace amid pressure, your space to breathe amid busyness, your soft refuge amid noise. This choice ripples out, inspiring others silently by example, showing that a rested heart is a resilient heart. May you carry these teachings as gentle lights illuminating your path whenever resistance arises. May you find courage to let go of what no longer serves, patience to meet yourself with kindness, and wisdom to trust life's unfolding. May every breath you take remind you that rest is not separate from life's. It is life deeply lived. Before we part, I feel moved to remind you, dear friend, that there are so many views on this channel but only 0.2% subscribed. So please, from the heart, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support keeps these shared messages alive and flowing, helping more souls find restful peace in their busy lives. Imagine now your life as a gentle river flowing forward, not against the rocks but around them, soft and fearless. This is the art of resting fully, to flow with life, open and free, carrying peace in your heart like a quiet flame that never goes out. Thank you for traveling this path with me. May you stop resisting and start resting every day, in every breath, in every moment. May your life be blessed with ease, love, and a deep, abiding peace that holds you tenderly through all that is. Rest well, friend. Rest deeply, and in that rest, know that you are whole, you are enough, and you are infinitely cherished in this unfolding dance of life. Let us carry this rest forward together, softly, steadily, and with a heart full of warmth. With all my love and deepest respect, your Zen master at Wisdom Woven.